Hello, welcome back. Today we got a prediction video of the Apex fight this week. Kevin Vallejos versus Josh Emmett. This is gonna be a good one. We're gonna get right into it. Nothing to really yap about besides one thing. I just texted Michael Garcia for the interview, so I'll let y'all know. And I hope that we get a respond early in the morning in the middle of this recording. So I'll give you a live reaction to that. But anyway, first fight, we got Sam Hughes versus Piera Rodriguez. The first couple fights that opened up this card, I'm not too familiar with these guys, so I'm just kind of basing everything off stats here on the UFC website. But we got a matchup. You know what I'm saying? Pierre's 11-2, Sam Hughes 11-6. Venezuela versus the U.S. Both coming off a win. Obviously, both fighting in straw weight. We go to their win by here. It's 45% Pierre Rodriguez to the 18% for KO TKO. So obviously she got no striking. Sam Hughes. She does have a 36% sub rate compared to the 0% chance of Pierre Rodriguez, so that could help in her favor. Maybe she has like a little bit better grappling. But it goes to the decision thing here, and it's 55% in Pierre to the 45 to Sam. So it's got decision written all over it. And their average fight times are both 13 minutes and 15 seconds. That's pretty horrible. Um, Going to the significant strikes here, they're both pretty even, honestly, with defense significant strikes. I guess Sam Hughes lands one more significant strike per minute than Piera, and they both. I mean, I guess Sam Hughes does also absorb at least two more significant strikes per minute as well, so she might get touched up a little more here, but I don't know. Now we go to the grappling. Piera Rodriguez has 4.5 average takedowns per 15 minutes to the 1.23 of Sam Hughes, so obviously she probably has better takedown attempts and accuracy. And of course, as it says in the next one, she has 54% takedown accuracy to the 35% of Sam Hughes and 73% takedown defense to the 60% of Sam Hughes. So, just looking at it, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely riding Pierre Rodriguez by decision. Next fight, we got Elijah Smith versus Sung Young Yu. I know about Elijah Smith, not too familiar with Sung Young Yu. They're both coming off a win. Obviously, a bantamweight fight. Elijah Smith a little longer in every way compared to Sung Young Yu. So, obviously, reaching height wise, all this kind of, we're going to the win by here. Elijah Smith has 56% KO TKO to the 19% of Sung Young Yu. Sung Young Yu does have a little bit percentage, 20% more better chance of getting the sub, but I really don't see that happening here. His average fight time is also 15 minutes to the 11 minutes and 23 seconds. So this definitely kind of has like decision written on it too. We go to the significant strikes, and Elijah Smith actually looks like he does a little bit more here. They both are pretty even for significant strike percentage at like 46, 47%. Elijah Smith does land out. It says here that he does outland Sung Young Yu by at least 2 strikes per minute or whatever. Not that crazy big difference, but he also does absorb a little bit more too as well. And his defense is not as good as Sung Young Yu's. So that could be, he could get touched up in the boxing here. But I think Elijah Smith might actually have the better of the striking exchanges. But we go down to the grappling here. They are pretty even for that as well. So that's another thing that makes me think that, it's going to go to decision because they both basically got no submissions on average per 15 minutes. Elijah Smith almost has one. But they also do kind of go band for band with the grappling. The only thing that's a little bit far apart is like the takedown defense, but it's still pretty even. I'm gonna go. This is hard. This is truly a pick'em decision. I'm just gonna go with Elijah Smith by decision. Next fight, we got Bia Mesquita versus Montse Rendon. Mexico versus Brazil. 6-0 versus 7-1, looking good. Both coming off a win. We go to the win by here. 0% striking, 0% sub for Montse Rendon. That's horrible. Just 100% decision rate. Wow, this is gonna be horrible. Bia Mesquita at least has a 17% KO TKO to the, and she has a 67 sub rate as well, or not rate, but percent chance to win by sub. So maybe she is locking this up here, but I don't know. She kind of looks better in any way in all the significant strike ways than Monse. Monse actually does absorb 3.42 strikes per minute to the 0.83 of Bia. So this kind of just has Bia by decision or Monse by somehow freak sub. And then I go here to the grappling. Bia does have, an average per 15 minutes of 4 takedowns to the 2 of Monse. She does have the better takedown accuracy as well, but Monse's takedown defense is 100%, so this is actually going to be really good here. So if she can take her down, that'd be pretty impressive. And Bia does actually have at least 2 submission attempts per 15 minutes to the 0.33 of Monse. So if you think Monte's going to get the sub, she probably ain't. So this definitely has decision, and I'm going to just base it off of the striking because the grappling looks like it's not really going to do much, even though someone's probably going to get held down. I'm going to go Bia Mesquita by decision. Luan La Cerda versus Hecher Sosa. Hecher Sosa's debut. He's from the Canary Islands versus Brazil, for where Luan's from. Both, I guess, I don't know if the dude's coming off a win, but yeah, they both go pretty band for band with, everything. Height and reach, a little bit, different, but nothing crazy. Doesn't really have too many stats here win by for Hecher because it's his UFC debut. Looks like he's coming off the Contender Series, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that for a fact. But we have an 85% chance of win by sub for Luan here, or 15% by decision. So that's already kind of right in the story here. One thing that does scare me though, but also gives me kind of more of an entertaining factor, is that Luan looks like he gets scrappy here. He lands around 4 strikes per minute on average to the 2 of Hecher Sosa. But they both are kind of even with around 50% for significant strikes. The thing that scares me about this is Luan absorbs more shots per minute. So in here it says 5.79 to the 0.87. So it looks like Hecher's defense is pretty good, but if you go side by side, it does say their defense is pretty similar. So maybe that just means Luan presses forward and just is more of into the firefight type of a fighter. Grappling wise, Hecher does average 4 takedowns to the 2 of Luan, so do expect some grappling. Hecher does have 100% takedown defense too, which could, stuff Luan 100%. And does average 2 submissions to the 0.91 of Luan, which is good. But I could actually see a submission here for Hecher Sosa. I'm not too familiar with these guys, but this should be a pretty good one. It's either Luan by TKO or Hecher by submission. I do not see this going to a finish, but I'm gonna go Luan by TKO here. Actually, nah, fuck that. We're going Hecher by submission. Next fight, Bolaji Okai versus Manuel Sousa. Not familiar. Nothing really crazy that stands apart between these two. Besides the win by 50% by Bolaji for TKO or KO or whatever to the 10%, that's pretty bad, or 40% decision. But I'm not really going to look at this and dictate the fight because I think since this is Manuel's debut, he doesn't really have, any win by, stats in the UFC. But we go to significant strikes here. Bolaji looks like he's going to outland him by double, at least is what it's saying. But it does say that Manuel Sousa, he has more of a significant strike percentage, so maybe he does land the better shots or whatever. And I believe that might be the case here because if you go to the absorb per minute, Bolaji absorbs 5.15 strikes per minute to the 1.31 of Manuel. So he might get touched up more here. But it also does say he does have the slightly better defense, but they still are both around 60%. And if you go to the grappling, no takedowns on average for Manuel, but again, it's probably just because of the Contender Series. This is his debut or whatever. To the 1% to the 1 takedown average per 15 minutes for Bolaji, but it does say that Manuel has a 2.31 submission attempt average per fight, and they both have pretty decent takedown defense. So we go back to the significant strikes here. I think it kind of just writes Manuel Sousa by decision, but yeah, so I'm gonna go with Manuel Sousa by decision. And here we get into some good fights, and then we have one bum one, and then we go to the good ones. Chris Curtis versus Oral by Mikdebek Oral by Neanderthal versus Crybaby. Who's gonna win? Chris Curtis could outbox Oral by, but Oral by digs deep, like really deep. So I'm not even gonna really go too much in this fight. I think Mikdebek Oral by is gonna touch up Chris and find a finish in the second or third round by KO. Not gonna lie, TKO. That kind of seems to be the way it goes for Chris. If I'm not mistaken, Chris might have won the last fight. Let's check on him here. Yes, he did against Griffin. Not sure of his first name, but then he lost to Kopylov and Brendan Allen before that. So he's losing a solid competition. I guess it's really up to us. Do we see Mikdebek Oralbai's solid competition? I do. So I'm going to go Oralbai by KO in the second or third round after kind of, making Chris Curtis get emotional because he's getting touched up. Brad Tavares versus Eric Anders. Decent fight here as well. Both coming off a loss, so they both kind of need a dub here. Everything kind of goes band for band with the matchup stats. I guess Eric Anders kind of does have the higher percentage to get a KO or TKO here, with the 59% to the 24% of Brad Tavares. And this kind of Wright's decision based off Brad Tavares' stats. I can see Eric Anders getting, I guess, a finish here, striking wise, but I don't know. They both are pretty band for band with significant strikes too. They both have around 3.5 landed per minute. Both have around like 45% significant strikes. They both absorb around 4 per minute, and their defense is basically 50 each. So that's pretty, even on the feet. Grappling wise, it seems pretty even too, except I guess takedowns per average. Eric Anders has like one more takedown average per minute. But yeah, this definitely has decision written all over it. And if it goes by decision, I'm going Brad Tavares. Next fight, good fights here. Feature prelim. Charles Johnson taking this fight on short notice after testing his chin to the ultimate max, which is fucking absurd. He should definitely chill for a little bit, but he's a dog. This is why I fuck with Charles Johnson, man. Versus Bruno Silva. I don't even want to, I will give you what I think. I think Charles Johnson's going to outbox him. I mean, we all are really surprised, especially after the Alex Perez fight, which is crazy. But we all saw what everyone's doing to Bruno Silva. In no way Charles Johnson just doesn't do the same thing, bro. That would be some Charles Johnson ass shit to lose to Bruno Silva. I'm not going to lie. But I think I see Charles Johnson TKO or KO. I could see another uppercut like he did with Van here up against the fence, because that's kind of what seems to happen to Bruno Silva. He seems to get finished up against the fence. Yeah. Unless Bruno Silva's grappling somehow makes a difference here and takes it to a decision. But I'm going to go Charles Johnson by first or second round, KO or TKO, uppercut, drops him either out cold, and then he just follows up with that one, hammer fist on the way down, or kind of gets a TKO. It's going to be a good one. Shout out Charles Johnson. Next one, Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplund to open up the main card. Love Apex, bro. This kind of writes Steven Asplund KO. But I don't want to sleep out Vitor Petrino because he actually is crazy. Listen, the guillotine loss at Anthony Smith doesn't count. It was the last fight at 205 at light heavyweight. That's why he's in heavyweight now. He's here to save heavyweight, or at least do something. Brings a fucking speck of dust to entertainment. But we go to significant strikes between these two. It's basically 20 to 2.75 to Steven Asplund. And I think that's, very in Steven Asplund's favor because he doesn't have too many, UFC fights or whatever. But everything else seems pretty even, except the absorb. Steven Asplund definitely looks like he eats more per minute to Vitor Petrino, but that could be the same reason of, not too many UFC fights to base that off of. But he looks like he does have a little bit better of grappling. And if you go to defense. But if you go to the grappling here, Steven Asplund doesn't shoot, does not have takedown accuracy at all because he doesn't shoot. But Vitor Petrino has 3 takedowns. So, listen, Vitor Petrino could take this into they're gassed out after the first round from grappling heavyweight decision. That's kind of the likely scenario unless Steven Asplund finds the KO here, which I kind of trust Vitor's chin. So I don't know if I really see that happening genuinely, but I'm just going to go Steven Asplund KO, TKO in the second or third round. Actually, no, I'm just going to go first round because these motherfuckers are heavyweight. And if there's going to be power to do that, it's going to be in the first round. So I'm going to go Steven Asplund by KO in the first round. The next one, basically the main event, Harry Hardwick versus Marwan Rahiki. Debut for Rahiki versus, Harry Hardwick coming off a tough loss. Pretty sure he got destroyed by a leg kick, if I'm not mistaken. This is really riding the Marwan Rahiki KO. We go to the significant strikes here. All right, let's go to the win by real quick. It's 86% chance of him win by KO to the 23% chance of, Hardwick. It's pretty crazy. He does land more per minute, has a little bit percentage higher of significant strikes, absorbs 1 strike less per minute, but it's still 6 to the 7 of Harry Hardwick, which is crazy. So they're going to be touching each other up crazy. And it looks like Marwan does actually have the little bit better defense here. And we go to the grappling. Harry doesn't shoot, it looks like. Marwan has at least 2 submission averages per fight, so it looks like he's pretty well-rounded and has 100% takedown defense. So this literally just writes that basically what's going to happen here is that fight that Joel Alvarez had where he finished that guy up against the fence with a flying knee, had a guillotine, and was TKOing him. Rahiki's going to destroy Harry Hardwick here. That's what it's writing off. I'm going to go, like that. Basically TKOing and subbing him at the same time. Next one, the true main event. Andre Fili versus Jose Miguel Delgado. My GOAT. My 145 bedtime banner champion. Coming off of a fucking disgusting loss against, what the fuck is dude's name? British dude. We know him. We love him. I don't hate him. What the fuck is his name? Nathaniel Wood, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even want to go too much in this fight. It literally writes Jose Melgado submission, if I'm not mistaken. We're gonna go to the win by. It says 60% Jose Delgado KO, and then to the 40% or whatever, and then it says it kind of favors more Andre Fili by decision, but I don't think that's gonna happen. And why? I think the striking is gonna make the difference here. I think Jose's gonna touch up Andre, make him mad that he's getting touched up a little bit. He's gonna be feeling it. He's gonna get hit a little bit. His head. He's not gonna have his head high. That's kind of what happens with the Andre Fili fights. He's good. He goes to the end, but he never really does it. I don't see him doing it against Jose Miguel Delgado. We go to the grappling here. Pretty even, I guess. Andre Fili kind of averages a little bit more of a takedown average than Jose Miguel Delgado, but there's no submissions averaging per 15 minutes for these guys unless somehow Jose just gets one, but I don't think that's the case. I'm going to go Jose Miguel Delgado by decision. We never really see Andre Fili get finished for real. We have. It's not like out of the book, so don't be surprised if that happens too, but if I'm going to put my money on it, I'm going Jose Delgado by decision. Next one, featured fight, Ion Cutelaba versus Umar Sy. This is going to be really good. This is going to be a good one. 68% chance of KO to the 42% chance of Omar Sy in Cutelaba's favor. Go to significant strikes here. They both pretty much go ban for ban, except seems like Cutelaba kind of absorbs a little more per minute and maybe lands like one more strike extra per minute on average. Grappling's pretty even too. It looks like Cutelaba might actually have a little bit more of takedown attempts or averages per 15 minutes than Umar Sy here, and they both do not submit ever. But Umar Sy has 100% takedown defense, so that could be really good. But if I'm going to get you a prediction, I'm going Umar Sy by decision here. Co-main event, Amanda Lemos versus Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson, one of my favorite WMMA fighters, genuinely, not even joking, trying to be funny. This is a rescheduled bout. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be for February or January or something, but then some shit happened. I'm pretty sure Amanda Lemos had I don't know. I think she had some skin issue, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, though, but this is obviously going to be a decision, unfortunately. As much as I want Gillian to get the sub here, Amanda Lemos is too good or too much of a vet to let that kind of happen. And she can hang with Gillian, or if not, she might be able to actually out-scramble Gillian. So it actually kind of has me worried a little bit. But I think Gillian's kind of younger. She's more on the come-up. She's more of a threat, if that makes sense. So I think she's going to be... She might get out-grappled initially, but the next two rounds are going to be her in her favor. So I'd see her winning 29-28 decision. Main event. Let's get to it here. Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. I don't even want to look at the stats. Josh Emmett's on the way out. Kevin Vallejos is on the way up. So obviously it's going to be Kevin Vallejos. It's either their blockheadiness is mashed together and they end up in a decision here because they're both just so crazy. Or Kevin Vallejos knocks out Josh Emmett. Obviously, we could be like, oh, Josh Emmett could knock out Kevin Vallejos. Yes, that's on the table, and it's true. But when's the last time he genuinely flatlined someone? It's been a long time. And he's been getting, subbed and out-grappled. And I don't think Kevin Vallejos has the craziest grappling in the world. Let's go to the grappling here to see if I'm tripping. Yeah, he doesn't have, the craziest grappling, but he does have pretty good takedown defense, it shows here. They are pretty band for band with significant strikes. I guess Kevin Vallejos does seem like he's a little more active. They both do absorb at least 4 strikes. But if you go to the win by here, 71% chance of KO to the 37% chance for Josh Emmett for Kevin Vallejos here. Yeah, I'm going to go Kevin Vallejos. I'm just going to say he continues the streak. He's going to do some crazy shit like he did to Giga and find the KO against Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's going to be I can see him just waking up oh my God, what the fuck? But this should be good. Some great boxing exchanges. Some power is going to be thrown from both sides, and that's what really has me excited. I'm very excited for that. But I don't really think there's really much to say about this fight. It's pretty much that. Just good boxing, going to be some good strikes, some good probably kicks from Kevin Vallejos. He might abuse leg kicks to kind of get Josh Emmett to kind of, slow down a little bit if he feels like he might be coming forward. That'd be a good idea for game planning. But that would be for Josh Emmett as well. I don't want to sleep on Josh Emmett all because of what TJ Dillashaw talks about. Pretty sure Josh Emmett is being coached by Dillashaw now, and just like the way that Dillashaw talks about it on the Jackson podcast literally gaslights me to like want to believe that Josh Emmett can make another title run. But that's probably not the case. Let's be real. But yeah, that's really all I got for the prediction for this, card this week or whatever. Appreciate y'all. If y'all enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment. If I'm tripping, you know what I'm saying. I think I got all these pretty down. I can't wait to see how they play out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying. All that. Eat this outro. You guys have a good day. Thank you.